The signal's echo. The quantum arrays aboard the Nexarian research vessel, Stellar Seeker, hummed with an unusual frequency. First Navigator Violet stood before the holographic display, her crystalline form refracting the soft, ambient light as she studied the anomalous signal. Her secondary sensors extended, trying to make sense of what they had detected from the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star. High Commander Nyxus must see this, she whispered to herself, her voice carrying a melodic resonance typical of her species. The Nexarians, beings of living crystal and energy, had explored thousands of galaxies over millions of years, but this signal was unlike anything in their vast archives. Within moments, High Commander Nyxus materialized in the chamber, his towering crystalline form dominated by deep purple hues that pulsed with each thought. "Explain," he commanded, his attention focused on the strange waveform floating before them. "The signal appears to be artificial, sir," Violet began, manipulating the display with precise movements of her energy field. "But it's encrypted in a way that suggests technological sophistication far beyond what we expected from this system. It's coming from a planet our records marked as uninhabited." Chief Scientist Zyrex, a younger Nexarian whose form sparkled with eager green energy, joined them at the display. "The encryption method is elegant," he observed, his crystalline structure vibrating with excitement. "It uses principles we've only recently discovered ourselves." The three Nexarians studied the signal in silence, their combined consciousness processing the implications. Their species had mapped this galaxy centuries ago, finding it largely devoid of advanced civilizations. Yet here was evidence that challenged everything they thought they knew. "Show me the source," Nyxus commanded. The holographic display shifted, revealing a blue-green planet partially obscured by swirling white clouds. Earth, as its former inhabitants had called it, though the Nexarians knew it only as System 27493. "The signal originates from beneath the surface," Violet explained, highlighting a point in a vast desert region. "It's been broadcasting for approximately 100,000 years, but the encryption prevented our earlier surveys from recognizing it as artificial." Nyxus's form pulsed with deep thought. 100,000 years, he mused. Yet the signal shows no degradation, the power source alone is beyond our current understanding, Zyrex finished, his crystalline surface rippling with theoretical calculations. "Whatever civilization built this, they possess technology that rivals or exceeds our own." The High Commander's decision crystallized instantly. "Prepare a surface expedition, full containment protocols. If there was a civilization capable of this level of technology, we need to know what happened to them." As the Stellar Seeker adjusted its course toward Earth, Violet couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something that would change their understanding of the universe. The ship's quantum drives engaged, pushing them through space-time toward the mysterious signal source. The descent through Earth's atmosphere revealed a planet that bore the scars of time. Vast cities, long abandoned, had been reclaimed by nature. Oceans had shifted, continents had moved, but beneath it all, that steady signal continued to pulse. "Landing zone secured," Violet announced as their ship touched down on the edge of what had once been called the Sahara Desert. The air outside was thin but breathable, the temperature extreme but manageable for their crystalline forms. As the expedition team emerged from the ship, their crystalline bodies adjusting to the local conditions, they were struck by the absolute silence of the desert. No wind, no life, just the endless sand and the mysterious signal pulling them forward. "Energy readings are strongest this way," Zyrex indicated, his form projecting a path across the sand. The team moved in perfect formation, their bodies glowing softly in the dying light of the sun. They crested a dune and stopped suddenly. Before them, partially exposed by centuries of shifting sands, stood a structure that defied explanation. Its surface was made of a material that seemed to absorb and reflect light simultaneously, creating an effect that made it appear both there and not there. "Impossible," Zyrex whispered, his crystalline form flickering with excitement. "This material, it's responding to our presence." High Commander Nyxus moved forward, his massive form casting long shadows in the setting sun. "We are not the first to find this place," he declared, indicating faint marks on the structure's surface. "But perhaps we are the first to understand what we've found." As if in response to his words, the structure began to hum with a frequency that matched their own crystalline resonance. The signal that had drawn them across space grew stronger, and the surface of the mysterious building began to shift and change. They had come seeking answers about an ancient signal, but as the structure before them came to life, the Nexarians realized they were about to uncover something far more significant. They were about to discover the truth about a civilization that had achieved the impossible and then vanished without a trace. The first chapter in understanding humanity's legacy was about to begin, and nothing in the vast archives of the Nexarian civilization had prepared them for what they would find within echoes of the past. As the desert winds howled around them, the Nexarian expedition team watched in awe as geometric patterns of light cascaded across the structure's surface. First Navigator Violet's crystalline form resonated with the building's frequency, creating harmonic patterns that danced through her transparent body. "The entire structure is a quantum computer," Chief Scientist Zyrex announced, his green crystalline surface pulsing with rapid calculations. "But the architecture, it's organic. It's as if they found a way to merge biological and quantum systems." High Commander Nyxus extended his energy field toward the building's surface, and a section of the wall simply ceased to exist, revealing a corridor that descended deep into the earth. The air that rushed out was perfectly preserved, as if time itself had been frozen within. "Quantum stasis field," First Security Officer Krylos observed, his red crystalline form shifting into a defensive configuration. The veteran warrior had seen enough ancient ruins to know that preservation, this perfect, usually meant active security systems. The team descended into the structure, their crystalline bodies providing natural illumination in the darkness. The corridors were sized for beings much smaller than themselves, forcing them to adjust their forms to accommodate the space. "These markings," Violet said, studying the walls, "they're not just decorative, they're data streams still active after all this time." She reached out with her sensor arrays, attempting to interface with the information flow. Suddenly, the corridor blazed with light, and a voice echoed through their crystalline forms, speaking in a language that their universal translators took moments to decode. "Identity verification protocol initiated. Unknown species detected. Implementing first contact protocols." Before them, the air shimmered and coalesced into a three-dimensional image of a being unlike any they had encountered in their vast exploration of the cosmos. It stood upright on two legs, with soft flesh and curious coverings over its form. "I am Aria 7, Advanced Research Intelligence Archive, 7th iteration," the hologram announced. "You have entered Installation 0, humanity's final repository of knowledge and achievement." The Nexarians shared a moment of collective surprise, their crystalline forms resonating with shared thoughts. This was more than just a signal beacon. It was a deliberate message in a bottle, left behind by a species that had anticipated their own absence. "We are the Nexarian Scientific Expedition," High Commander Nyxus responded, his form pulsing with diplomatic protocols. "We followed your signal across 12 galaxies." The hologram smiled, a gesture that the Nexarians found both alien and somehow familiar. "Then you are exactly who we were waiting for. Only a civilization with sufficient technological advancement could have decoded our beacon. Welcome to humanity's legacy." The corridor opened into a vast chamber that stretched beyond their visual range. Countless storage units lined the walls, each pulsing with quantum energy. In the center, a massive crystalline structure, not unlike their own forms, hung suspended in a field of pure energy. "This facility contains the sum total of human knowledge, achievement, and genetic legacy," Aria 7 explained. "But more importantly, it contains the truth about why we left." Zyrex moved closer to one of the storage units, his scientific curiosity overwhelming his caution. "The data density in these systems, it's beyond anything we've achieved. How did they manage this level of compression? Humanity discovered that consciousness itself could be used as a storage medium, Arya 7 replied. Every memory, every experience, every piece of knowledge could be encoded into the quantum fabric of reality itself. Security Officer Krylos's form shifted uneasily. A species capable of such technology, why would they abandon their world? The hologram's expression changed, showing what the Nexarians would later learn was sadness. We didn't abandon it, we transcended it, but the price of that transcendence was higher than we could have imagined. Arya 7 gestured, and the chamber filled with holographic displays showing scenes from human history. Cities rising and falling, great achievements and terrible wars, moments of breathtaking beauty and horrifying destruction. Humanity reached a crossroads, the AI continued. We had mastered the physical world, but our own nature remained our greatest enemy. We needed to evolve to become something more than what we were. This facility contains not just our history, but the key to understanding what we became. Violet's form pulsed with sudden realization. The signal, it wasn't just a beacon, it was a test. Correct, Arya 7 confirmed. We needed to ensure that those who found us would understand the implications of what we discovered. Your crystalline forms, your ability to share consciousness through resonance, you are uniquely suited to comprehend what humanity achieved. High Commander Nyxus moved to the center of the chamber, his massive form reflecting the endless streams of data that surrounded them. Why us? Why now? The hologram's response sent vibrations through their crystalline forms. Because what humanity became is now returning, and the galaxy must be ready. You are not just witnesses to our past, you are crucial to the future we foresaw. As the implications of these words settled into their consciousness, the Nexarians realized they had stumbled upon something far more significant than an archaeological discovery. They were about to become part of a plan set in motion 100,000 years ago by a species that had found a way to evolve beyond the very concept of physical existence. The quantum legacy. The crystalline structure at the center of installation, Zero, pulsed with increasing intensity as Arya 7 interfaced with its systems. The Nexarian team watched as streams of quantum data filled the chamber, creating intricate patterns that mirrored their own crystalline forms. What you're seeing, Arya 7 explained, is the quantum signature of human consciousness at the moment of transcendence. We called it the Quantum Consciousness Initiative. Chief Scientist Zyrex extended his sensors toward the data streams, his green crystalline form absorbing and analyzing the information. These patterns, they're self-organizing. It's as if the consciousness itself is still active. Because it is, Arya 7 confirmed. Humanity didn't simply disappear, they evolved into beings of pure quantum energy, existing in a state of superposition throughout the universe. But the process revealed something none of us expected. High Commander Nyxus moved closer to the central crystal, his purple form resonating with its frequencies. You discovered that consciousness was fundamental to the universe itself. Precisely, the AI responded. Humanity learned that the universe wasn't just conscious, it was composed of consciousness. What they achieved wasn't merely transcendence, but reunion with the fundamental fabric of reality. First Navigator Violet's form flickered with sudden understanding. That's why the signal drew us here. Our crystalline nature, we're already partway along the same evolutionary path. The chamber darkened, and new holograms appeared, showing scenes of humanity's final days in physical form. Scientists working in vast laboratories, massive quantum computers calculating possibilities, and finally, the moment when the first human successfully transformed into pure energy. The transformation wasn't just physical, Arya 7 continued. It was a complete reimagining of what it meant to be conscious, but humanity recognized the dangers of such power. They knew others would follow this path, and not all would handle it wisely. Security Officer Krylos, who had remained vigilant near the entrance, spoke up. You mentioned they were returning. Why, and why now? The AI's holographic form shifted, becoming more serious. Because humanity detected something coming, something from beyond the boundaries of our known universe. They transformed themselves to prepare for it, but they needed others to be ready when the time came. Suddenly, the quantum crystal in the center of the chamber began to resonate at a new frequency, and the Nexarians felt their own forms responding involuntarily. Images flooded their shared consciousness, visions of vast cosmic entities moving through the void between galaxies, of consciousness that dwarfed their understanding, of a universe far more alive and aware than they had ever imagined. What you're experiencing, Arya 7 explained, is a direct transmission from what humanity became. They exist now as quantum observers watching and waiting throughout the cosmos, but they're not alone out there. First Navigator Violet, her form still vibrating with the new frequency, asked, "What did they find in the void?" "Other transcended species," the AI replied. "Some peaceful, some not. Some who achieved transcendence millions of years ago, others who are just beginning to emerge. Humanity became part of a greater community of conscious energy beings, but they never forgot their origins or their responsibility to those who would follow." High Commander Nyxus absorbed this information, his crystalline form pulsing with deep thought. The signal wasn't just a message, it was an invitation. More than that, Arya 7 corrected. It was a warning and a gift. Humanity learned that physical evolution has its limits, but consciousness can expand infinitely. They left this facility not just as a record of their existence, but as a guide for species ready to take the next step. The quantum crystal's resonance increased, and new data patterns emerged, more complex than before. Chief Scientist Xyrex's form practically vibrated with excitement as he analyzed them. "These are instructions," he announced. "Scientific principles, mathematical formulas, quantum mechanics far beyond our current understanding. They're showing us how they did it." "Because time is growing short," Arya 7 said gravely. "The entities humanity encountered in the quantum realm, they're approaching our galaxy. Some seek to guide, others to dominate. Humanity has been preparing for this moment, gathering allies among the stars. That's why they needed a species like yours to find this place." The chamber hummed with energy as more systems activated, revealing new chambers and corridors leading deeper into the facility. The Nexarians realized they stood at a crossroads not unlike the one humanity had faced, a moment when understanding transforms into action, when knowledge demands a response. "The choice is yours," Arya 7 concluded. "You can take this knowledge back to your people, begin the process of preparation, or you can walk away, leave this facility and its secrets buried in the sand. But know this, what humanity became is only the beginning. The true test lies in what comes next." The Nexarian team shared a moment of unified thought, their crystalline forms resonating in harmony. They had come seeking answers about an ancient signal and found instead a doorway to the next stage of cosmic evolution. The question now was not just what humanity had become, but what the Nexarians themselves would choose to be, the choice of centuries. The quantum processors of the Stellar Seeker hummed at maximum capacity as it processed the vast data streams from Installation Zero. In the ship's central chamber, High Commander Nyxus and his team engaged in deep resonance, their crystalline forms sharing thoughts and impressions at the speed of quantum entanglement. "The implications are staggering," First Navigator Violet projected, her form shimmering with complex calculations. "If what Arya 7 showed us is correct, humanity didn't just achieve transcendence. They discovered that consciousness itself is the fundamental force of the universe." Chief Scientist Xyrex's green crystalline structure pulsed with excitement as he manipulated the holographic displays showing humanity's quantum transformation protocols. "Their mathematics is elegant beyond anything we've conceived. They didn't just break the barriers between matter and energy. They proved those barriers never truly existed." Security Officer Krylos, his red crystalline form still configured for defense, interjected with a cautionary pulse. "But they also warned of entities in the quantum realm that seek to dominate. If we pursue this knowledge, we risk drawing their attention." The chamber fell into contemplative silence, broken only by the subtle harmonics of their crystalline resonance. High Commander Nixis approached the central display, where the data from Installation 0 continued to stream. Aria 7, you remain connected to our systems. What do your protocols suggest? Nixis projected. The AI's response materialized in their shared consciousness. Humanity foresaw this moment of choice. They knew that any species capable of decoding their signal would face the same dilemma they once did. The question isn't just whether to evolve, but how to preserve what makes your species unique through the transformation. Suddenly, new data streams erupted from the ship's quantum core. The Nexarians watched in astonishment as their sensors detected massive energy signatures appearing throughout the galaxy, quantum patterns that had always been present, but that their systems were only now capable of perceiving. "They're everywhere," Violet whispered, her form resonating with the new frequencies. "The transcended humans, they've been here all along, watching, waiting." The energy signatures coalesced into patterns of pure thought, and for the first time, the Nexarians experienced direct contact with post-human consciousness. The experience was overwhelming, like touching the mind of the universe itself. "We are here," the thoughts echoed in their shared awareness. "We have always been here, guiding, protecting, preparing. Your species stands at the threshold we once faced. But you must understand, transformation is not escape. It is acceptance of greater responsibility." Through the connection, the Nexarians glimpsed the true scope of what humanity had become. They weren't just energy beings. They were custodians of consciousness itself, working to preserve the delicate balance between physical and quantum existence. The approaching entities from beyond the galaxy weren't just a threat. They were a test of this balance. High Commander Nixis's form pulsed with the weight of decision. "Our entire civilization will be changed by this knowledge. Some will embrace it, others will fear it. How did humanity manage such a transition?" "They didn't all agree," Aria 7 explained. "But they understood that evolution doesn't wait for consensus. Those who were ready went first, becoming guides for those who would follow. The transformation spread naturally, like the dawn breaking across a planet's surface." Chief Scientist Zyrex had been analyzing the transformation protocols. "According to these calculations, our crystalline nature makes us ideal candidates. We already exist in a state between matter and energy. The transition would be more controlled than humanity's first attempts." Security Officer Krylos's form shifted uneasily. "But what of our duties, our responsibilities to our current form of existence?" The post-human consciousness responded with a wave of understanding. Who better to guide and protect physical life than those who remember what it means to be physical? Humanity didn't abandon their responsibility to the cosmos. They expanded it. As the team absorbed these revelations, ship's sensors detected new quantum signatures approaching from deep space. Massive consciousness constructs moving with clear purpose toward their galaxy. "The others approach," Aria 7 announced. "Those humanity warned of. Your window for preparation grows short. Will you take your place among the guardians of consciousness or remain bound to a single form of existence?" High Commander Nixis turned to his crew, their forms pulsing with shared purpose. The choice before them was clear, though its implications were infinite. They had come seeking knowledge of an ancient civilization, only to find themselves called to join in its greatest achievement and its greatest responsibility. The transformation protocols hung in the ship's quantum memory, waiting for their decision. And in the vast spaces between stars, the transcended remnants of humanity waited with them, ready to welcome new allies in the eternal dance of consciousness and creation. Transcendence dawn. The Stellar Seeker's quantum core pulsed with unprecedented energy as the first Nexarian transformation began. High Commander Nixis had volunteered to be the first, his massive purple crystalline form suspended in the ship's transformation chamber. The protocols extracted from Installation 0 were clear, but the outcome remained uncertain. Multiple quantum signatures detected approaching the solar system, First Navigator Violet announced, her form rippling with concern. "The entities humanity warned us about, they're here." Chief Scientist Zyrex monitored the transformation protocols, his green crystalline structure interfacing directly with the ship's systems. "Commander, the quantum field is stable. We're ready to begin." Through their shared consciousness, they felt Aria 7's presence watching with ancient wisdom. "Remember," the AI advised, "the transformation isn't about leaving your physical form behind, it's about expanding what you are into what you can become." The chamber filled with pure quantum energy as the transformation began. Nyxus's crystalline form began to vibrate at frequencies beyond normal space-time. The crew watched in awe as their commander's physical form became increasingly translucent, quantum patterns flowing through his structure like living light. Suddenly, the ship's sensors blared a warning. The approaching entities had accelerated, their vast consciousness patterns distorting space itself. Security Officer Krylos's red form pulsed with tactical data. "They're trying to interfere with the transformation." But before the entities could reach them, new quantum signatures burst into existence around the stellar seeker. The transcended humans had emerged, their consciousness forming a protective barrier around the ship. Through their quantum link, the Nexarians felt the pure power of post-human thought. "We stand with you," the human consciousness communicated. "As others once stood with us, the cycle continues." Within the transformation chamber, Nyxus's form began to shed its physical constraints. His consciousness expanded exponentially, touching minds across light years. The crew felt their commander's awareness brush against their own, no longer limited by physical form. "I understand now," Nyxus's thoughts echoed through their shared awareness. "What humanity became, what they achieved. It's beautiful beyond description." The hostile entities pressed against the humans' defensive barrier, their ancient consciousness radiating confusion and anger. They had come expecting to find primitive beings struggling with first transformation. Instead, they found an alliance of evolved consciousness ready to meet them as equals. Through their quantum link, the Nexarians witnessed a conversation in pure thought between humanity's transcended form and the external entities. Concepts beyond physical comprehension flowed between them, debates about the nature of existence itself, about the right of species to choose their own path of evolution. In the midst of this cosmic dialogue, more of the crew began their own transformations. Violet was next, her navigator's consciousness expanding to encompass the flowing currents of space-time itself. Zyrex followed, his scientific mind blossoming into understanding of universal laws that had eluded their species for millennia. The hostile entities finally withdrew, their vast consciousness patterns rippling with what the Nexarians sensed as reluctant acceptance. They had come to dominate, but found instead a new balance of power in the quantum realm. "This was always humanity's hope," Aria 7 explained as the transformation chamber cooled. "Not just to transcend, but to create a network of evolved consciousness throughout the galaxy, a community of minds to stand against the darkness between stars." The transformed Nexarians now existed in multiple states simultaneously, both physical and quantum, both individual and connected to the vast web of transcended consciousness. Through this new awareness, they could perceive the true scope of humanity's achievement. Humanity hadn't disappeared. They had become the guardians of evolution itself, watching, guiding, protecting species as they took their first steps toward transcendence. The Nexarians were not their first success, nor would they be their last. In the ship's central chamber, the remaining physical crew interfaced with their transformed colleagues. The barrier between matter and energy, between individual and universal consciousness, had been forever broken. The quantum realm held no more secrets from them. "We have chosen our path," Nyxus's consciousness resonated through both physical and quantum realms. "But we will not forget our origins, nor abandon those who still walk the path of physical existence. Like humanity before us, we become guardians of consciousness itself." The stellar seeker began its journey home, carrying within it both physical and transcended crew members. They would share their discovery with their people, guide them toward this new evolution. And in the vast quantum web that spanned the galaxy, the transcended humans welcomed their new allies in the eternal dance of consciousness and creation. Far below, in Installation 0, Aria 7 continued its vigilant watch. The facility's quantum beacon still pulsed its signal across the cosmos, waiting for the next species ready to take their step into universal consciousness. The legacy of humanity lived on, not as a remnant of a lost civilization, but as a testament to the infinite potential that lay within all conscious beings. The discovery of humanity's final message had changed everything. The universe was no longer a cold, empty void to be explored, but a living tapestry of consciousness waiting to be joined. The Nexarians had found not just answers about humanity's fate, but their own destiny among the stars. And somewhere in the quantum realm, the beings that had once called themselves humans smiled, knowing their great experiment in cosmic evolution would continue, one species at a time, until the galaxy itself awakened to its own consciousness.